Good morning, everyone. Good evening and good afternoon to viewers from all walks of life. This is nikymus, and you are welcome to the channel of truth, enlightenment, freedom, and the channel for breaking impasse free. If you are new on this channel, I talk about narcissism and narcissistic abuse. I talk about spirituality, and I talk about personal and self-development. And if any of that resonates with you, I invite you guys to join us, give us a like, share this video with friends, and you may subscribe if you haven't already. And for those that have always been with us, you are welcome back, and I thank you for your love and support. Now, I know that there is a lot of chosen ones that are not self-aware. Most likely, they are still asleep, they're still doubting themselves, and they don't really know who they are. In this video, if you're a black sheep and the things that I talk about highly resonate with you, then you just have to know that there is work to do. You're the chosen one, and there is work to do if you haven't started already, okay? Why am I doing this video? I discovered that I was a black sheep. I had been a black sheep my entire life. That was around 2 years ago, post-awakening, when I left a narcissistic relationship. Then I also uncovered a dysfunctional family system. That's when everything made sense, and I finally knew who I was and what exactly my life had been about this entire time. At the end of this video, I would like to know if a lot of these things resonate. Let us know what you think and leave us a comment below. Like we always do, you guys know the drill. The story of the black sheep. Once upon a time, you came into this world. There's a very big chance you was overdue. Probably you went on after 5 months, beyond after 9 months, and maybe sometimes you was born at around 10 months or even 11 months. If that didn't happen, there's also a very big chance you were born prematurely. We're going to come to that later, the reason why some of these things have been happening. Okay, so you came into the world, and few years later, you most likely noticed that you was living in what do they call those homes where they look after children? You was in a nursery home or something like that. You was in a baby's home, and you have started to figure out that most likely you are around strange people. So you cannot actually relate with these people. They're not even your family. If that didn't happen, probably you was dumped off to your grandmother at a very young age, to an uncle, to an auntie, or sometimes you were actually adopted. You were put up for adoption. And for some reason, you came to this realization that the family that was around you wasn't your family. Let's say you was born in a family, okay? There's also a very big chance that one of the parents, by the time you were born, one of the parents was either deceased or one of the parents was actually not present. So most likely your mother doesn't even know the whereabouts of your father. Let's say, for example, both parents were available in that time. There's a very big chance that you was born in a very toxic family system, dysfunctional family system. Your parents probably, there was alcoholics, and maybe sometimes they were druggies. Maybe sometime you could have found your mother was a prostitute. And there was all forms of toxic behavior or dysfunctional behavior that actually was going on around you. Even some case scenarios, if not most case scenarios, you was most likely born into a narcissistic family unit. A couple of years later, you figured out that for some reason you wasn't fully accepted, okay? So you have been rejected since birth. You had your siblings besides you. Could be younger or could be older. But whenever there was something going on, there's a party going on, people are opening presents, it's Christmas, people are opening their boxes. Only your box was missing. Some people got some suits for Christmas or whatever. You didn't get any presents or gifts. Even if you got, you were breadcrumbed from day one. So you got something actually much smaller than other siblings. And you have actually noticed this happening as well. Some time went on, you also realized that most likely one of your parents was not emotionally available. It could have been the mom who was always out there hustling, and sometimes the mom had to leave you with the father at home for the most part of your childhood. Or sometimes there was a father who wasn't available, and sometimes your mother used to stay with you for the most part of your childhood. As time went on, you recognized that you were always struggling and seeking some form of validation, because you would feel that you were actually left out in so many ways, in so many things at home. So you struggled too hard to prove a point to your parents, whether it is something you wanted to say, or sometimes you always wanted to make sure by the time your parents come back home, you have done most of the work. You've cleaned the house, you've washed the dishes, you've cleaned the compound, you've washed the dogs, or whatever. You was seeking a lot of validation because for some reason you thought that if you show them what you're capable of or what you could do, they would give you some form of validation. But even then, sometimes you never really got that validation at some point. Now, this led you to become very codependent, okay? So you started having a lot of codependence issues whereby you would usually strive and seek attention and validation from your parents because you felt that for some reason they were maybe sometimes leaving you out the whole system. And then eventually time went on, you started school. You went to nursery, and then you noticed some things happening in the school. A lot of the kids would sometimes blame you for certain things. Who put this thing somewhere there? It was you. Who was making noise? It was you. And sometimes most of those things you didn't even do. You hadn't even done. So sometimes you were even blamed for a lot of things that you hadn't done, or sometimes you even knew nothing about. And sometimes you could have been mocked as well by your family at home, family members, siblings, and also sometimes other children or other students at school. They could mock you. They would tell you things like, maybe you got big eyes, which is sometimes the truth. A lot of black sheep, they tend to have extraordinary body features. You could have come into this world with a very big head. You could have come into this world with very big hands, maybe very big feet. There was sometimes some of your body parts was made fun of by the people around you, family members, even sometimes the people and the children at school. As if that was not enough, you may also have got into trouble at school because you felt that school wasn't for you. You could barely understand what the teachers were saying. You could barely pick up on the tutorials, the teachings, whatever. You found out that you was very uncomfortable being around school, partly because you was usually scapegoated and blamed for so many things that you didn't know about. Maybe even you were bullied, you were mocked, and always, whenever your name came up, it was a subject that everybody could joke about, and they usually got away with it. As if that was not enough, there's also a very big chance that you was expelled from school. It could have been something that you actually have done, or it could have been something that somebody did and you ended up paying the price for the actions. So probably you were suspended or you was expelled from school. So you found yourself jumping from school to school. It felt as if no school actually could accommodate you. Whenever you went there, a couple of weeks, maybe months, you was expelled or suspended and taken to another school. And you also may have noticed as a black sheep that you was most likely the one with the big-headed one, okay? The rebellious one. The teachers say do that. You say, no, that one is not supposed to be like that. You do something else. And usually, you was even punished for those actions or behavior. Let's go into relationships. At some point in time, you thought it was time for you to date. So you got into relationships. For some reason, you got into very usually toxic relationships, okay? There was people who was not available. They couldn't love you. They couldn't show you love the way it's supposed to be. So it was actually not authentic, genuine love that you deserve or that you need. But for some reason, you got attracted to this kind of individuals, especially narcissistic people. So you thought that relationship won't work. You went into the next one. The next one was the same. That one also didn't work out. You went to the next one. So you was in the repeated cycle of getting involved into toxic, dysfunctional, narcissistic relationships. The same goes to your family, your friends who was always around you. For some reason, those individuals were also toxic individuals, so they didn't have your best interests at heart. So you thought at some point, if you didn't drop out of school, because there's a very big chance you became a school dropout, so you didn't finish your education, for some reason you was like, you were not going to deal with school, and you just decided to go out and venture into the world and find your own way, figure out things on your own, maybe start something small for yourself, whatever. For the most of you who have maybe sometime got a job somewhere, in that particular job, the scapegoating continued. You are the one who left the trolley somewhere. You are the one who pressed the wrong button, so something went wrong in the factory or something went wrong so there was always these little things that you didn't know nothing about. And your name always came to everybody's lips that you have done something wrong. In actual reality, you never did anything wrong. So there's also a very big chance that you was, what do they call it? You was, you lost your job. You was laid off. You was made redundant. The boss just came around and told you, we're not going to need your services. Or sometimes you got a couple of hours that you do, probably in the week or in the day. Your hours are cut short. Sometime when it's time to pay, everybody else is paid and you're the last to receive your payment. Sometimes even you receive your payment, it is half payment or sometimes no payment at all. These things have continued to be a part of your life, and it felt like that was the life you were supposed to live. That was you, and those circumstances, you started accepting these things as your own, and you would sometimes believe that was the life that you were meant to live. I will tell you what is going on behind the scenes. You're special. You're born with a light. You're born with an anointing. That's the reason why you're different. You have never fitted in with the family, friends, churches. You never fitted in wherever you were. You thought and you had this deep feeling that you was some kind of an alien. You did not actually resonate with so many things that people around you used to do or decided to do, for that matter. And most of the time as well, as a black sheep, you always felt like you would put a foot forward, step into radical action in whatever it is you decided to do, and you felt like something was dragging you backwards. Okay, now, what is really happening is that you were chosen one. Okay, there is forces. The enemy knew who you were from the beginning of time. The battle that you're fighting is spiritual warfare. It has got nothing to do with the people who are tormenting you, manipulating you, abusing you, stealing from you, whatever, torturing you. It has got nothing to do with those individuals. The enemy working behind the scenes to stop your evolution and growth, because the enemy knows on a spiritual level what you're here to do. The enemy has known your destiny from day one. Now, what the enemy did, the enemy used the people that were always closest to you to do everything they can or they could to stop your growth, your evolution, and your development. There's even a very big chance as a black sheep, something which I've even forgotten, that you could have had or experienced a near-death experience at some point. There was a serious sickness out of nowhere. You were hospitalized for a couple of days, maybe weeks, months. It could even have taken your life. You have even sometimes most likely been in a coma. There is things that have happened that could have taken your life, but for some reason, you're still here. All these things are not happening by coincidence. You have always been a targeted individual from the beginning of time. The only way when you will get clarity and the courage and the energy to move forward in life is by, first of all, knowing thyself. The very moment you will know thyself, that is when so many things will make a lot of sense. You will add up all the puzzles together, and you really understand that this battle that you've been fighting has always been spiritual warfare. So you've always been in spiritual warfare, even sometimes physical. Could have happened as well, whereby you could have been attacked and beaten by a group of guys in school, or things could even sometimes be your own family members, and horrible things have been happening around you. The enemy knows your destiny even before you do. Your parents, to start with, and we're talking about the evil one, because if you've been a black sheep of your family, I can guarantee you there is one of your parents that has been an evil person. You may just have been too blind to see it. You was not aware of it, but that was the person actually attacking you on a regular. So the enemy was using these people. These are avatars. They're like vessels. Has been using these people to slow you down. Is why I've mentioned to you guys that sometimes you would put a step forward and your father came around and dismantled your creations or your inventions or whatever. You wanted to go to school, your parents sent all the other family members in a certain school. You was left behind or sometimes put in a very bogus school. and you felt like you weren't going anywhere in life. That is what they call the black sheep of the family. You are the chosen one. Your mission is big, and you've got a very big role on this universe. You are here to break cycles. For some reason, the black sheep, they always find a way out of any situation. Doesn't matter what has happened around them. So many of them have struggled in so many different kinds of ways, but they have always picked themselves up and they have kept on fighting until they achieved a very great deal of success. You may look around you and you will see very successful people in your vicinity. You may sometimes come close to them. They're going to tell you some stories which are very similar to the things I've just told you. So those were the black sheep of the family. They have broken out of these cycles and they have been the very first successful individuals in their community, in their families, in their environment, whatever. They have been actually the very first people who have attained a certain degree of success. As a black sheep, no matter what is happening to you, no matter what you're going through training, you're learning from these lessons. You're being prepared physically, mentally, spiritually, because God knows you have got a very big role to play on this planet. Everything is happening around you is not by coincidence. Everything you have seen going on around you has been happening on divine purpose, because the role that you're here for is much more bigger than you've ever imagined. There is nobody in your circles who will ever be able to wear your shoes, because where you're going, they can't even start. They can't even fit in your own shoes. You're the black sheep of the family. Just get confirmation in this video that you're special. Your life journey and the things you've gone through only mean that you have got a very big anointing on your life. This anointing comes with resistance, because the enemy can see in the spiritual realm what kind of person is going where and who is here to do what. So these have been like setbacks for your entire life. All those will pass, and at some point you're really going to get where you want to be. So let me know what you think about this video in the comment section below. You guys know that I do love and appreciate your support. Book a session. You may donate or support my channel if you want to. Everything you need, you will find it in the description below. And until then, I'll catch you guys in my next one. There's almost signing out. Much love and blessings. Peace.